Asian markets are warming up to the prospect of a Biden presidency as investors await the results of the U.S. election. Well, Japan's Nikkei index hit a 29-year high today. It opened in the red, but quickly rallied to 0.9% or 219 points, which is the highest since November 1991. Now, over the week, the Nikkei, well, it's hit about 5.9%, also buoyed by good earnings result from Toyota and Honda. Over in China, well, the blue chip index that recouped earlier losses to close flat, and that is best week in 3 months. But Shanghai and Shenzhen, well, they closed in the red, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng was in the green. And a look at other Southeast Asian markets. Bursa Malaysia, it rallied to close about 1.2% up thanks to the country's latest expansionary budget aimed at spurring domestic activity amid this pandemic. And for more insight, we are joined by Amarjit Singh from Ernst & Young. Well, Mr. Singh, any surprises from this budget?
Well, I don't think real surprises, but really expected for the government to focus on the immediate need. I think to address the pandemic in terms of the focus on saving lives and livelihoods. So quite a fair bit of measures that have been announced to continue to give targeted subsidies, reliefs. I think working with the private sector to ensure that there are job creations, employment being still offered. And I think still looking at the economic recovery. So there were some measures as well in terms of new incentives or enhanced incentives as well. I think overall, pretty balanced budget.
Yeah, and as you noted, this is clearly a COVID-19 budget aimed at, stimulating the economy, helping people. What's been the reaction so far among businesses?
I would think the businesses were probably relieved. It's important at this stage to have an expansionary budget so that, the employment rate does go down. People are employed, their lives are taken care of, the needy is taken care of as well. And that in turn should translate to higher consumption, and which is evident, I think, in the projections. So we see an increase of at least an 11.4% in consumption taxes for 2021.
And Mr. Singh, these are also some far-ranging subsidies, but on the other hand, there are tax cuts, which some feel that the revenue projection, that's too optimistic. What do you think about that?
Well, on the tax cuts, really, I think one main tax cut that was announced, and that's on personal sort of individual tax, and even then, it was only on one of the individual tax band, and the tax was 1%. I think many were also expecting and sort of overall a bigger, broader corporate rate tax cut, which was not announced in this budget. Many are still expecting that to come sometime in the future when these measures are a little bit more stable, and I think the economy gets back on its foot.